You're listening to the Roofing Success Podcast, a show created to inspire roofing contractors to achieve optimal success in their roofing businesses. I'm the host, Jim Moline, the co-author of the book, Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors, How to Triple Your Sales and Turn Your Roofing Website into an Online Lead Generation Machine. I'm also the co-founder of Roofer Marketers, the digital marketing agency for the roofing industry. On each episode, I'll be sitting down with industry leaders to talk about their processes, the lessons they've learned, and how to find success in roofing. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. Really excited today. We're going to have a discussion about leadership and legacy. Just to get everything started, as always, please like, please subscribe, please comment. It helps us out. Share this with your friends, share this with other roofing contractors. We'd really appreciate it. We try to put the best content out as possible to help you find success in your roofing business. And so today we have the owner of Cornerstone Construction. They serve the Carolinas. He's also the founder of RoofCon. Hunter Ballew started Cornerstone with three core values in mind. One was to provide the highest quality of work, to provide the best customer experience, and with a promise to serve the community. And his focus on leadership and legacy helps to shape that. So Hunter, welcome to the podcast. Maybe tell the audience a little bit about yourself and how you got started in roofing.
Yeah, man, I wish I had this awesome story about how my dad or my grandpa or somebody I knew was in the roofing industry and I wanted to be a roofer. But I feel like for most of us, it was not that we wanted to be a roofer when we grew up. We were just kind of, drawn into the industry one way or another. And that's what happened to me, man. I went to the Marine Corps, and then I came out of the Marine Corps and I went to the fire department. I worked full-time at the fire department. And I just always kind of had this entrepreneurial spirit of wanting to have my own company. And so while I was there, I was doing little side hustles. I had a moving company. I bought and sold cars and boats and trailers and real estate and all these different things. And then, I decided that I wanted to step away from the fire department, from being full-time, just volunteer here and there. And so I started a marketing agency, much like you, and was helping roofers. And while I was doing that, I just found some success helping roofers. And I realized, hey, I think I could do this for myself. What if I created a company and used it as a case study, if I could get it to 7 figures? And back then, man, I really thought 7 figures was, this huge number. And
huge number.
7 figures isn't that big in the roofing industry. So we started doing it. That was our goal, $1 million in the first year. We'll use that. We'll leverage that to get more clients inside of the marketing agency, which was called Roof Gen, like lead gen. It was called Roof Gen. And once I started growing the Cornerstone, the roofing company, man, I just loved it. Like I really enjoyed being a part of a team. I wasn't sitting behind a computer all day anymore, talking to people all across the country. It was building a team here in my hometown and working with homeowners here in my hometown. And I just really loved that, man. And I was still able to do some of the other things. But as Cornerstone's grown, I started separating myself from the marketing side, just focus more on some consulting here and there, but not done for you. And so, Cornerstone evolved. We're growing faster than ever, man. It's been a blessing. We just hit year 3. Our goals were 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, the typical structure people want to hit. And so we're on pace to just crush 10 million this year. We wanted to do 1,000 contracts. I think we're at like 1,200 contracts right now, landing some commercial gigs. And then last year, we decided to start a conference for roofers of high integrity that want to focus on leadership and legacy. Now, we talk about sales and marketing and supplements and all those things that are going to bring you an ROI for coming to the event, but also how do you become a better leader for your family, for your community, give back in a big way and leave that legacy that's important to you.
That's awesome, man. And that's where we kind of came into this conversation. Why I wanted to have you on so much is that's something that's next level conversation, right? A lot of people just start a business to make a living at first, right? Or they maybe they have a dream, like you said, of a 7-figure, contracting company, which isn't that, that big once you get into it. And then this thing kind of starts growing and you find all of these little road bumps along the way, whether it's in your sales side or marketing side or production side. And there's all this stuff that goes along with it. But one of the things that through our conversations, it's that legacy that really, your vision and your legacy of what you want to take this to, that's really important. So can you speak a little bit about, kind of that relationship between leadership and legacy, and your thoughts on that?
Yeah, of course, man. So I think that getting into any industry, it doesn't matter if it's roofing, if you got a tech company, if you own a vet clinic, it doesn't matter. We have to go to work and we have to make money. But the dollar figure is really irrelevant. Whether you make $100,000, $1 million, $1 billion, all that really matters is what you're going to do with that money. The money itself isn't an asset. It's what you can do with that money that matters. And so we really try to talk with contractors, and I do this outside of the roofing industry as well, and say like, hey, what are you out there every single day fighting for? Why are you busting your butt? Because it makes it a whole lot easier when you know why you're getting up in the morning, you know why you're putting in the hours, you know why you're taking on all the stress that it takes to run a roofing company and to grow a roofing company. And so we have, you heard about it, we talked about it, a PDF, a simple PDF we created last year to help people out. Hundreds of people at this point have used it. It's called Fulfillment 40. How do you find true fulfillment? And it's something that you can review every single day. And it seems kind of, you got to go through it. I got to look at it every day. But when you do it, you remember it, and it's top of mind. So it's Fulfillment 40, and we list out our 10 blessings. What are you grateful for? What are you happy for? Now, naturally, people are going to say my family, my wife, my kids. And, of course, those things are important. But when you have to do 10, it challenges you to dig a little bit deeper. Why are you doing it? Are you passionate about leadership? Are you passionate about the water crisis, about millions of children dying every single year from not having clean water? Are you passionate about whatever it is for you? Maybe it's, veterans. Maybe it's just youth in general in America or Africa or China or Mexico or whatever it is. Then next, we talk about our 10 reasons. Why do you push hard every single day? And naturally, again, everybody puts their kids, their family. And I challenge people, and a lot of times people don't like it, man. But I just say, hey, look, I challenge you to not be so shallow and just say that. What are you doing beyond your kids and beyond your wife, your spouse? Because you chose that life, right? That's your responsibility. Regardless of your work, how much money you make, that's your responsibility. So dig deep. What beyond that? Don't be shallow and just say your family. I want to know what else you're doing it for. For me, man, I want to help 1 million people improve in leadership. I want to speak to 10 million people live. I want to speak to 100 million people online. I've got these big goals and big reasons behind everything I do. And then I know when I'm in here and I'm spending long hours at 10 o'clock at night or 2 a.m. or I just got back from a trip where I didn't get to see my kid for a few days. And that's every week, just traveling. And when I'm out there and I'm hustling and I'm having to see him on FaceTime and he's growing and he's saying new words and he's doing new things and I'm missing it, dude, it sucks. It's not any easier for me than it is for you or anybody else. I just know what my reasons are. My wife is understanding of my why and why I push so hard. And it's my job as Turner's father that as he grows, he understands why dad's not going to be at every football game or baseball game. I hate saying that. I wish I could be, but he's got to be selfless. He's got to grow and be shaped into a good leader and know that, hey, dad's out there working for other people that, excuse me, I got a little beef jerky in my mouth. I was eating for other kids that might not have as good of a chance. So that's reasons. Then next is our 10 targets. What are your actual 10 targets, right? I just talked about some of mine. Speaking to 10 million people live, speaking to 100 million people online, having a jet so that I can go anywhere I want, just like that. If there's a little girl here in town, this happened recently, and it just even more cemented why I want a jet. People say, oh, you're materialistic. That's why you want a jet. You're materialistic. That's why you want a ranch. No, you have to look at the reasoning behind it. There's a little girl here locally, just got diagnosed with cancer. Thinks she has, very limited time to live. How amazing would it be to be able to just say, hey, Ava, I know you want to go to Disney World, and maybe your family can't afford it. So you just go down to Greenville-Spartanburg Airport and you get on my jet. I'm going to send you down there and not have to worry about it. Now, I'm still at a point where I could pay for that, and we can do that, and we help out with things like that. But that, to me, is fulfillment, to be able to do that, not have to worry, to be able to write $1 million check and not have to worry about it. When you see someone in need, when you see an organization that it's a good cause and you feel like they could actually use it. And then last but not least is your 10 excuses. So you've got your 10 blessings, your 10 reasons, your 10 targets, and your 10 excuses. What do you tell yourself? what's number one? Everybody says, I don't have time. I didn't have time to call grandma on her birthday. I didn't have time to go out there and get the job done. Whatever it is, we all say we don't have time. We all know that's a BS excuse. You can stay up later. You can get up earlier. You can cut out some of the talk about college football, and I love college football. I'm a fan of the greatest team out there and the greatest coach ever, Dabo Swinney, Clemson Tigers. But we know that that's an excuse. We can cut out some of that stuff and put in the effort if it's actually important enough.
That's awesome, man. I love all that. And the way that you break that down. So here's what I want to talk about first one thing is you had spoken about, you'd said beyond responsibility. I like to say there are a lot of things that you're supposed to do, right? Yeah. So just to your point, taking care of your family, taking care of your kids, being there for them, being a loving husband, a loving father. Those are things that you're supposed to do, right? Those are
average. That's average.
No.
That's your responsibility. You're supposed to do that naturally.
You're supposed to show up for work, right? Yeah. You're supposed to do, right? There's things that you're just supposed to do. You don't get, in my opinion, you don't get extra points for that, right? You don't get extra points. And so what I really liked what you said there was beyond responsibility. So what are some, I know you have what are some of the people that you coach, what are some examples of some of their, reasons or targets or things like that are beyond responsibility as examples for our audience to kind of get their mind going, get some thought into that.
Yeah, man. So some of the people I talk to, including myself, being financially free is something we hear all the time. But what does that actually mean? That's another one that's like, all right, well, let's dig a little bit deeper. Why do you need to be financially free? And what does financially free mean? Does that mean being able to stroke $1 million check? Does that mean not having to live paycheck to paycheck? So for me, even bigger reasons are helping develop youth, making sure that my son becomes a better leader than me, making sure that my son has that understanding, helping others realize what's possible, because we have this culture that just conditions people to think, hey, you have to live this certain way. You have to go to college. You have to go to high school. You have to get this degree. You have to go get a $50,000 job, but you don't. I lucked up somewhere along the way and had key people in my life just give me a little nudge. If I was getting on the track of what I was supposed to do, maybe this guy kind of gave me a nudge, or maybe God put this person in my place at a restaurant and said, hey, I'm doing this. You should look into it. And it got me researching. Now, don't get me wrong. It takes a lot of ambition from someone like me or you to go out there and actually do the work. We can talk about it all the time. We talked about this pre-show. We talked about it the other day on the phone, man. Like, everybody wants to talk about concepts. Nobody wants to talk about action steps, right? Ideas. Nobody talks about execution. Nobody puts in the work so that they can actually implement the work. You can pay every coach out there, and 99% of them are going to give you something that you can make money with. The problem is 99% of people that pay won't actually put in the work to get the results. So I can have this coaching program and put people through it. We can go on retreats, and we can do Facebook Lives every week, and we can train, and you can fly in and see us, and we'll fly out and see you, and we'll train. But if you don't put in the work, it's all for nothing. And so like when we sell people into a program, dude, we do an amazing job of disqualifying people before they buy. We want to make sure they know, hey, this takes work. You can pay $1 million, brother, and if you don't put in the work, it ain't some magic switch. It ain't going to change your business unless you just hire somebody that does it for you for $1 million.
I always like to say, when you have faith in the outcome, you'll execute too, right? So not only understand, so having that long-term goal and long-term vision of your reasons, your targets, and things like that. When you have faith in that outcome coming to fruition, I think that's when people execute, right? When they have a clouded vision and if there's any doubt in that place, right? If they sit in doubt in that place, that's why a lot of people don't take action. I think they sit in doubt and they just sit there. They sit there and look for ways to find a shortcut. Yeah. Or something, but there are no shortcuts. It's just the daily activities that you do. It's everything that you do on a day-to-day basis that gets you to there. How, what, how did you find your passion?
Yeah, man, I think from a young age, I actually talked about this last night on Facebook Live. I think from a young age, I've just kind of always been fulfilled by seeing other people be successful, by giving to other people. That's something that makes me happy is seeing other people happy. So building a team and seeing everyone on my team be happy, see people come in and make more money than they've ever made, 5 times more than they've ever made, or, be able to get approved for a home loan, or, be able to adopt a child because now they have the extra money, or whatever it is. That's where I find fulfillment. And so last night, my topic on Facebook Live was your team success has to trump your personal gain. You have to care more about your team success than personal gain. I could go out there and I could stack cash, stack profit from the business, not invest back in my people, not do retreats, not pay for training, not give bonuses, not pay as good as we do, stack profit, go build me a nice house, go to the Bahamas every week, do whatever I want. But then I would not get to see these people be successful. And guess what? Long-term play, it's going to pay off because you build a company that's high worth, right? And you could sell the company, or you make better money on rebates, you make more profits. Long-term, it pays off for the owner, for the owners, for the management team, for the people that are incentivized. But in those first 3, 4, 5 years, man, you have to be focused on your team's success, setting them up so that they can't fail. And you're going to get so much buy-in from them that it is a game changer. You build a culture that people want to be a part of. People want to come in on the Monday morning meetings. People want to go on trips. People want to recruit their friends because they love it so much. We just got voted best place to work. We've been in business for a couple of years. We went against huge corporate companies with thousands of employees. We got voted best place to work with like 70 people working here. So cool to see that. It's such a blessing to be a part of that. I was more proud of that than best roof and best solar. We won a bunch of them. But best place to work, man, I was so friggin' proud of, because we have so many people that put in hard work to make this a reality, but they get compensated well for it, and they have a good time along the way, and they get to give back to the community.
That's something that I've found as a common thread through a lot of the owners, successful roofing contractor owners that I've interviewed on this podcast, is they have part of their purpose is the people that work for them and with them, right? It maybe with them is a better term, right? You may write payroll, but they're working with you. There's an old quote by Zig Ziglar. It's, if you help enough people get what they want, you get what you want, right? And that's the type of mindset that you have to have. And when you have that mindset, it comes back to you many times over, right? Like you're saying, being the best place to work is such an accomplishment, because you know that you're making a difference. And I heard you mention things like buying a home and adopting a child. And this goes so far beyond getting that next roof, right? It goes so far beyond that.
We have guys come back that leave and think the grass is greener. And look, I'm all for someone leaving, doing their own thing, joining another company if they think it's going to take them to the next level. I'm the first one to support that. But unfortunately, a lot of times it's not. They think the grass is greener, and they realize, I had it pretty good at Cornerstone. We have people come back to us and tell us, and that makes you feel like, I hate we lost them, but I'm glad to hear that that they realize now. And so one thing we do a lot different than anyone else, we do it at RoofCon, at the event, at our retreats. We do it at Cornerstone. We do retreats with our company. We don't just talk about their personal reasons and find out what their personal reasons are for pushing so hard. What is their why? Because then when every other person in the room hears what their why is, they can hold their butt accountable when they're slacking, right? It's not just like me being a jerk to you, like, hey, man, you're not working hard. I know why you said you need to work hard to hit this income level, because you do want to adopt a child. So when you don't give it 100%, I can get on your butt, rightfully knowing that you're not going to get that kid. You're not going to help someone get out of the system because you're not working hard enough. And so when we do these retreats, we do these events, man, we want to know their personal reasons, but we also come up with a common goal, a common mission together. So like for Cornerstone, we have a nonprofit we started called Cornerstone Kids, where we donate money of a percent of every single dollar that comes in goes back into that fund, and it helps upstate youth, whatever market we're in. We're in Greenville, South Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina, Charleston, Little Rock. So we're in different markets, and we donate a percent of that back to upstate youth so we can fund different things, whether someone has a house burned down, Christmas time, obviously a lot of kids don't have food or presents. We just had, with all this COVID stuff going on, they canceled all the proms for all the kids, right, in the upstate.
Yeah.
We funded 12 upstate proms. We paid for the proms, everything in their entirety. We had giveaways, and we spent almost $40,000 giving back. But guess what? That's not Hunter. That's not Hunter. That's 70 people who busted their butt, earned that income so that we could give 1% of it back to the people who are deserving, to those kids, so they get that senior prom and they get to have that experience. Now they know Cornerstone and that team is busting their butts so they can actually do that. So it's so cool to see, man. And like, they know when there's a common goal, common mission as a company, everybody's putting into that pot, and they can be fulfilled knowing that, hey, I gave to that. I helped put on 12 proms.
That's right. And that, and being part of something bigger than, right. It's more personal. I talk about it with contractors sometimes when they're talking about just asking for reviews from homeowners, right? Like the homeowner doesn't care about the company, right? They don't want to leave the company a review, but they know John, and John has helped them with their, from the start of this process to the end of this process. John helped them, made sure that everything was, that personal connection there within that company is what makes the homeowner feel better, right? Yeah. So having a greater vision for your company, it's like that. The team, the people on your team are connected on such a higher level. They're connected to something beyond just Cornerstone, right? That's amazing, man. And so I know that you do a lot of work and you have a lot of coaching and consulting or conversations around sales and recruiting. Let's talk about recruiting a little bit and what you look for maybe in when you're building that team and how how that works for you.
Yeah, man. Let me give some, we were talking about action steps and concepts. Yeah. Action steps right here for anybody listening. I think you said most of your audience is roofers, and hopefully I'll get to meet a lot of them. Hopefully a lot of them come to RoofCon. But let me give some fire right here that we've implemented into our company. And so when you're recruiting, a lot of people have a tough time recruiting. Maybe you can get some applicants. Maybe they come in, they're interested. You give them your little pitch. Maybe you hire some of them, and then you don't have a solid training process. You just pat them on the back, give them a couple of paper forms to go sign, and show them how to put up a ladder, and that's it. Well, for us, man, our system is just dialed in. Like, it is I don't want to say perfected process because we're always perfecting it, but it's dialed in, right? So for us, man, we have ZipRecruiter working for us. We have Facebook. We have word of mouth. We have all these different things. Our guys know that when they're at Texas Roadhouse, when they're at Bojangles, when they're at Hampton Inn, it doesn't matter where they're at. If they see a high energy person that seems of high integrity, they look like they're working hard, they're nice, they're friendly, reach out to them, ask them, hey, have you ever thought about working in sales? And so we have a funnel that we put them through, and I'm actually going to give you the link. I've never done this. I'm going to give you the link. It's called cchiring.org. Simple little funnel. You go through cchiring.org. It's basically like our hiring headquarters. And so if they go to cchiring.org, they look at the headquarters, they'll see what jobs are available. They can click on outside sales. There's a list of like a dozen testimonials from our team, little 1, 2, 3 minute videos of our team talking about why you should be a part of the Cornerstone team, how it's changed their life. They click on outside sales. They go into outside sales. There's a 12-minute video of me starting the video by talking about all the bad stuff. I talk about all the bad stuff from sales, roofing sales, Cornerstone. That way I get rid of everyone who's not a fit. You got to do some door-to-door. It's 1099. You might have to be out in the evenings. If a storm hits, you're going to be busy. All the stuff that could be bad, right? Then I talk about the good stuff, the earning potential, building a team, all of these things that are going to turn them on to working with us. And so if they go in there and they see that and they make it through that 12-minute video, then they watch a 5-minute video that talks about Cornerstone. If they like that, which everybody likes that, that's the video we use to show homeowners to sell them on Cornerstone. And so the guys, it makes it easy on them. When they go up and inspect the roof, the homeowner watches that video of Cornerstone, they're sold on Cornerstone. It's a video of me holding my little boy, talking with my wife about Cornerstone, showing all kind of B-roll of our jobs that we do. And so when they come back down from the roof, they give them a video report of their damage. They're sold. Unless they just completely messed it up, they're sold. So if they watch that 12-minute video, that 5-minute video, and they like it, then there's an application. We ask some deep questions. We say, hey, what are your 3 goals in life? We want to know a little bit about you. What's your earning? What's your annual earning right now? What is your annual earning goal? Then we make you take a personality test. if you're a personality that does not fit sales, as much as I want to see you be a part of the team, we don't hire you because we're doing you a disservice. You're going to come in and you're not going to do well because you're an introvert or whatever personality type it is. And so it just doesn't make sense to hire you. We don't want to put you in a bad spot where you come in and you don't sell anything for 3 months, then you leave with no money. So if you fit all of that, then you fill out an application for a phone interview. You talk with Mama Kim. That's our team success manager. We call her Mama Kim. You talk with her. She'll tell you more about the job, answer any questions. And then if you're still a fit, she'll set up a time for you to come in and interview with one of the management people, or if I'm here and I have time, then I'll meet with them as well. And at that point, they're basically sold on Cornerstone. They want to be a part of the team. I'll answer any more questions they have, and they'll get a T-shirt and they'll get started.
So you essentially have a sales funnel for hiring. That's awesome, man. And there's a lot in that, a lot to unpack in that. A lot of it is you're building company culture starting with the hiring process.
Yeah,
that's amazing, man. I love that idea. It's like and setting expectations, right? Not everything is wonderful on a day-to-day basis, right? These are the challenges that you may face. These are but this is what could come out of that. What personality test do you guys use?
16personalities.com.
Okay. 16 personalities. I'm not familiar with that one. I know there's a lot of different variants of that, but that's awesome. That's great. So now you've recruited the team. You've recruited the sales team, production team. I'm sure you do the same way. Everybody kind of comes through the same way. But now let's talk about the sales team a little bit. I know you have some really, really awesome sales systems and sales training that you build into your processes. Maybe speak to that a little bit.
Yeah. So we don't even share much of that except for like our people that are in Revolt.
Okay.
Part of RoofComp. I mean, I'll share it. I'm just saying
Yeah.
The actual platform. But I'll certainly give you guys an overview of what to do and how to do it. And so we call it Six-Figure Blueprint. It's something I developed a couple of years ago for our sales team because I realized to scale, I was going to have to remove myself from the process, right? As much as possible. I'm still involved, still answer questions when they need to be answered, but I've got to be able to focus on the business and not be working in the day-to-day, because when you got 40 sales guys out there, if they ask you a question in a day, you literally couldn't get anything done. So develop Six-Figure Blueprint. And again, it's been perfected. And there's always, I swear every week, it's like, oh, I need to add this. I need to add this. I need to add this. So Six-Figure Blueprint, you come in and it's a training system where our promise to you is we're going to give you all the tools, the training, the technology to make six figures. All you have to provide is the work ethic. If you'll go out there and you work 40 hours a week, it's just about impossible to not make six figures. And so for us, man, we've got everything from top to bottom. You come in, it's the welcome section. It talks about our mission at Cornerstone, who's who within the company, why we've done what we've done, who we are, what you should be proud of, why you should be proud of being a part of the Cornerstone team. We get into product knowledge. We get into the basics of how to read a scope, how to measure a roof, how to put up a ladder safety. We get into product knowledge with, what kind of shingles we use, what is starter strip, what is a roofing system, all of that. We get into sales and proper sales techniques and how to pitch at the door, how to get on the roof, like everything you can imagine, door-to-door training. There's a ton of stuff in there. I don't even know how many videos now, hundreds of videos and probably hundreds of hours of training.
So you guys have developed this. And this is what I want people to understand, that these are living processes, is the way I might want to describe them, right? As you're saying, this stuff changes, right? And you're adding things and maybe subtracting things and modifying things along the way. You're 3 years deep into this now. So you've developed this huge, this huge catalog and this huge system. But for someone that hasn't implemented these systems, putting the systems in place in their business, especially the training systems, right? The processes of training around processes, all of that. How do you think they could get started easily, or how did you get started putting it together? Because that's a huge library that you're talking about.
Yeah, man, it's tough for a lot of people in this industry. That don't want to invest back into the company, that don't feel like they have the money. I don't know if you've ever heard the saying, the reason you can't is the reason you must. If you don't have the money, That's why you have to do it. You have to get good at marketing. You have to hire someone to run your marketing. You have to spend time on social media. You have to spend time building your team and building the culture and going on retreats. You have to build a training system. You have to be willing to invest in a training system. You have to be willing to invest in a mastermind with people who are where you want to be. You have to pay for retreats and take the time off to go, because that's what's going to get you to the next level. There's no way I'd be sitting where I'm at right now had I not done all those things. I mean, people ask, man, I mean, I'm pretty sure, I haven't done the math in over a year. I'm almost positive I'm over $1 million invested just into training and masterminds and all those things now over the last few years, but certainly hundreds of thousands of dollars. But nobody at this point can take that knowledge. I've got Becca Switzer's training. I've got Dale Childress training. I've got Sam Taggart and just all these different people. And now it's a resource for my team so that I can say with confidence, if you fail, it is your fault. It really is, man. Like, there's no way you don't succeed at this company unless you just don't put in the work. If you don't believe and you don't go out there and try, you'll fail. But if you try, you put in the work, you believe, you will succeed.
That's awesome. And I talked about this with Becca a little bit when she was on. It there's these pre-built starting points that you can use to develop, like you're talking about Sam's stuff and Becca's stuff and all, all of these places that there's starting points. And maybe you take, someone like Becca's sales training and then you make it your, kind of mold it to your, to your personality or your company's values over time, right? Like you can,
you can even integrate the training. We've got all kinds of different people's training. And here's the thing, man, is you're going to have a guy that say, well, I don't like the way Dale trains. Well, I don't like the way Becca trains. Well, I don't like the way Sam trains. I don't like Hunter stuff. That's okay. You're not going to relate to everyone. And everyone's going to have a different pitch that works for them at the door with their personality. But that's
what I'm talking about.
Sam Tiger has solar training, pest training, satellite training, meat training. I tell my guys to go through it all. If you come to me and you're like, hey, I want to draw. It's not working out. I'm trying hard. Have you been through all the training? Have you watched all the videos? Because I paid a lot of money for all that stuff. So I expect you to go through it. We got guys that come to us and say, well, I can't afford the time off, or I can't afford to pay for RoofCon to come to the event. Or people complain about us being expensive for our mastermind for 12 months. Dude, if you can't, our mastermind's one roof, gross profit a month. If you can't afford to give up one roof, if you don't think we can help you get one roof a month or 12 roofs throughout the year, keep on trucking, brother. You're going to have to get outside of that mindset and be willing to invest in yourself, into your company, and to your people.
That's very similar. Like for our digital marketing agency, that's what I say too. We're about one roof a month. Yeah. And if you don't think we can help you get, beyond 12 more roofs next year, then boy, we definitely didn't do our job as a marketing agency, right? Like
as this industry, man, like, because it is so high ticket, it makes it easy to invest back into your company.
So that's a thing that, I run into on, in a lot of ways when I'm doing educational, events and then through, speaking with people on our agency side and things it's a limiting mindset. And I'm sure you've put some thought or have some thoughts on limited mindset, maybe share some of that. Why do you think people have limiting mindsets and what could they do to kind of break through that?
Man, I talk about this all the time. It kills me. You hear people say, oh my gosh, gas is going up 50 cents a gallon, or, oh my gosh, they want an extra $20 for that hotel, or just always complaining about stuff. Look, you've got to have an abundance mindset. There's plenty of money out there to be had. Go work a little bit harder, put in a little bit more time, invest a little bit more into yourself. Don't worry about things you can't control. I promise you, brother, you can't go in and tell Shell gas station or Exxon or Spinks or any of those places, like, I just don't think that's right. I think you guys should take off, 50% of my bill because gas is just too high. They don't care. People are going to keep on buying gas, and there's nothing you can do to change it. So why let that drive you nuts? Why hear about RoofCon and say tickets are $297 or the high-end tickets are $997 and the mastermind's $3,000 a month or whatever it is? Why are you going to worry about that when you can't change it? Control what you can control. If you go in with a mindset of, hey, I'm going to bust my butt and I'm going to make this stuff work for me, there's just I talked about this the other night too, just having a mentality that no matter what, I'm going to get the job done. I don't know if you've ever heard that by Art Williams, the guy that started, one of the insurance companies out of Georgia, not Prudential, I can't remember what it is, but he's got this famous speech, and he just keeps saying over and over for like 10 minutes, just get the job done, just get the job done, just get the job. You just do the work. When nobody else is going to do it, just go do the work. Just get it done. Talk about it later. Do the work now.
Yeah, that's awesome. And a lot of times it's that activity that breaks you through a lot of this stuff, right? And I think that a lot of people have expectations. We live in the now society, right? You click on the app, you press a button, easy button at the office supply store. Everything is now. I'd probably say this too much, but I think everything is eating right and exercising. It's not diet pills, right? People are looking for diet pills too often when they need to just eat right and exercise. That's how you lose weight.
I will go back, man, and I don't want to contradict you, but I will say, I talk about this all the time. There are shortcuts. Shortcuts are using services like you. They're joining masterminds. They're coming to events. They're paying for consultants. They're paying for mentors. If there's any shortcut, that's a shortcut.
Yep.
I've paid out the butt for stuff like that, but it's helped accelerate my timeline versus,
that's right.
I just met a guy out in Arkansas 3 days ago who stuck around 2 million, that's been in business for 18 years. And it just blows my mind, man. We're on pace to crush that in Arkansas in a branch we opened not even 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So you have to be willing to invest. That's your shortcut.
Yep. And the shortcut in that diet and exercise is you're hiring that personal trainer, right? Like you got to have those extra people that get you to the next level. And mentorship, I think, is an amazing thing that people miss out on a lot of times. They want to try to figure it out themselves, but a lot of this stuff has been done before, whether it's, what we talked about with the sales training out there, learning how to do marketing, running your operations. There are so many good programs out there for contractors that these people, it's step by step, it's done. You will have to invest. And that's part of it, right?
Best thing you could say is there's no shortcut on the work.
There's no shortcut on the work. Yeah.
Shortcut on the knowledge, because even with the gym, you got to do the work.
Got to do it.
Even all the bodybuilders you see out there on test or whatever they're taking, they're still busting their butt in the gym. They don't just shoot up stuff and then get swole like that. Like they're still putting the work. The guys that are doing 100 million, you can talk about them because they know this guy or their grandpa was in the business or whatever. They still have to put in the work.
They still do. And there's some of those, some of those very established companies in some local areas that have been there for 30 years. And I'm like, if you want to compete with them, now you have to really do the work, right? You really have to put in the work, and you have to do the extra things. That's another thing that people will miss out on in that regard. I might be attributed, like you said, you're a big college football fan, right? There's the professional level teams, right? There's the NFL. Then you have the people playing in college and down in high school, right? You got to go through and build yourself up, right? And build yourself to that level, before you get, before you can compete. But once you get to that level, a good football team, your favorite Clemson, right? They're going to go across the country and play another team and beat them because they put in the work, right? Right. You can open up a new location in a new market and start competing right away because you've put in the work, and you know what comes from the work that, from the systems and processes that you've already put in place. That's awesome, man. I appreciate that. That's great thought. And I really enjoy that you, everything about this is still leading to that purpose, right? Like bringing it back to that a little bit, bringing it back to making sure that you have the purpose in everything that you do. You started off as a marketer. I think that your purpose and your company culture can come through your marketing, which is also a big attraction, from the consumer standpoint. How do you guys implement that corporate culture and that mindset into your marketing efforts?
Yeah. So for Cornerstone, man, it's much like I was saying earlier, like you get the team on board with that common mission, that common goal, and they're pushing that. And I think that it just kind of, it's just a vibe. You know, they don't have to talk about it to the homeowner. We market well. We win awards. People talk about us. People share our stuff. We do giveaways. We've got a group in a Facebook group in the upstate with 82,000 members. We got one in Arkansas with 33,000 members. So like we do a pretty good job of getting our name out there and branding. And so without us even talk about it, we'll have so many people say like, hey, aren't you guys the ones that do the free proms? Aren't you the ones that do the giveaways? Aren't you the ones that give back to the nonprofit? Like people just know it's like who we are. It's not who we're trying to be. It's not what we're trying to do. It's who we are. And so I think that it's just more of us instilling that into our team that, look, this isn't something we're trying to do. This is who we're supposed to be. We're supposed to care about their customer experience. We're supposed to give them the best product out there. We're supposed to give back to the community, no matter the cost, no matter the profit margin. That's just who we are.
And people buy from who they know, like, and trust, right? Yeah. And that trust, seeing the things that your company does outside of putting roofs on, man, that brings that level of trust to a whole nother level, right? They know that even when they're just buying a roof from you guys, that they're contributing to things, right?
Something else too, man, is like, we've got this kind of, you could call it arrogance, you could call it swag, like whatever you want to call it, that like if someone doesn't buy from us, if someone doesn't want to sign with us, you know, we don't talk bad about anybody else. There's plenty of good roofing companies, but we truly feel like if you skip out on working with us, you're skipping out on a Super Bowl champion. Like you just missed a chance to see Brady play. You know, like we really feel like we're doing them a disservice if we don't close them because we're that good. We're going to give them that good of experience. We send thank you letters. We send, you know, flowers to if there's a female involved. Like we try to go above and beyond everybody else.
Yeah, and that's where I think I have a kind of a thought process on sales too. Is I think that when salespeople truly believe in what they're selling, that it is a far exceptional product, a far exceptional service experience, right? I think that they're so comfortable in selling that it's so natural, and there's such a belief in that in what you guys are doing in putting the roof on and contributing to society as a greater, you know, in a greater way.
It absolutely is. Yeah. I mean, I had a breakthrough a couple of years ago. I was paying again for a consultant, high level consultant, more money than I could afford at the time, but I took a chance and I did it. Had so many breakthroughs during that time. And he really convinced me, man. I was having a hard time asking for, you know, a large amount of money on the phone when I was talking with someone that I didn't really know. And I was trying to sell my consultant program. And here I am, you know, at that time I was like 25, 26. I'm like, why are they going to want to pay this young punk kid, you know, this amount of money? And that's evolved to me realizing that I am doing them a disservice if I don't close them. Like to the point where if you have no money in the bank account and you got to charge it to your credit card, it's the best thing for you to do. Because if you're telling me right now, if we're in agreement that you're going to put in the work, I will give you the tools and the roadmap you need to get to that next level, make the money back trifold, tenfold, whatever it is. So you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't pay me the money.
Yeah, that's that.
If I don't close you.
That's right, and that's that belief, and it's a belief because you guys have put in the work and put in the structure and have found your, you know, you found your whys, you found your, you know, your reasons, and understand your responsibility to, like, from what we talked about in the beginning, to the team, to everyone. Everything kind of comes together in a whole here, and that's why I love kind of what you guys are doing. How can people, you know, find you? How can they find RoofCon? Give them some of that information.
Yeah, man. So since it's mostly roofers, if you're on Facebook, we've actually got a Facebook group with 10,000 members in it. It's called Roofing and Sales Community. So just roofing and it's the symbol and roofing and sales community. Check that out. Join us. Right over 10,000 members. We're growing. You'll see the RoofCon banner and all that. You can go to roofcon.com and check out what we've got going on there. It's nothing special spelling wise, just roof and then CON, no dashes, spaces, any of that, roofcon.com. And then, of course, I'm on Facebook too inside the group. We do free trainings inside of that group with all kind of industry experts. I mean, you saw the lineup for RoofCon. I think that's one of the reasons you reached out to me. You saw I was aligned with Becca Switzer and John Dye and Pete Smith and Dale Childress and Randy Brothers and Jim Johnson and just a ton of people that are going to be there and want to be a part of this, what we really consider a movement in the industry of let's not just focus on sales and marketing and all that stuff. Let's focus on accountability, helping each other grow to that next level, leadership, relationships, all of those things as well.
Awesome, man. Well, we'll put all of that, all of the links to everything in the description. So guys, check that out. Check out Hunter, everything he's doing. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. If you would like to generate more sales through your digital marketing efforts, please visit roofermarketers.com and get a copy of the book, Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors, How to Triple Your Sales and Turn Your Roofing Website into an Online Lead Generation Machine. Also, check the training section of the website for guides on everything from running effective pay-per-click ads to how to properly set up your Google My Business listing. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. Thanks for listening.